I'm going to show you something here you might not want to see. Don't look now, but Zaniolo is on an absolute tear. And as I pull up the statistics here, what's that look like? He beat Atalanta with a great goal. That was just a couple days ago, 6 days ago. And then scored in the previous match in the loss against Juventus, but he was the only goal scorer for Udinese in that match, too. Didn't score while they did score three against Lecce. Udinese won 3-2. But then scores in the previous one to that against Cremonese, takes two yellow cards back to back, and then scored against Palermo. That was in the Coppa Italia. So in the last four matches, he has 3 goals, and in the last 7, he has 4. Zaniolo is in hot form. Why wouldn't he score against Roma? It has all the makings of the Gol del X, right? I think we see this coming. I'm not a betting man. I'm not going to give you advice here, but if you were putting your money, I think it's looking pretty obvious. Like Zaniolo is definitely going to get his goal against Roma. We're going to take a look later, now, again, the Roma Udinese, what those lineups are looking like aside from our buddy Zaniolo. And let's do that right now. There we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, this is from Gazzetta dello Sport. We should start by taking a look at Udinese and who they are. Okoye at the back, Bertola, Cabasele, Sule. Sule is a really good defender. He got in some trouble last year. I don't know how he's still playing or what the update is on that court situation, but he's a very good defender. He's somebody who I thought, not despite, but if he didn't have that type of criminal history going on, would have been a perfect player under Gasperini. And I'm going to get to, by the end of this episode, these are usually like 10, 12 minutes long, my favorite players. And I will tell you, first of all, that number 1 is a defender, and we'll get there. On the right, Zanoli, Ekelenkamp in the middle with Karlstrom and Atta. On the left, Camara, and then Zaniolo number 10 with Buxa. So not a lot of players I'm familiar with, but they are in 9th place. They've got 15 points after 10 rounds. That's pretty good for Udinese to see them in the top half of the table. Over on Roma's side, of course, Villar Net, Mancini, and Dica Hermoso, just the way that they lined up against Rangers. I have a couple things to say about that as well. Over on the right, yes, it'll be Selic, it'll be Cristante, and surely Kone with Wesley out left. Up top, probably Dovbik. That's what's being estimated right now. Of course, Dybala is still out. Sule and Pellegrini. I like this. I don't think it's going to look exactly like this. Pellegrini out on the right wing doesn't really make too much sense to me. If anything, it'll be Sule out on the right where Pellegrini is listed. Dovbik as a true center forward up top with Pellegrini drifting a little bit more central, but also holding that wide space in the half spaces, as they like to say, between or off to the side of the two more attacking players here. Otherwise, that looks pretty good to me. I think that's what we're going to see. I would bank on this one being the starting formation. This match will take place at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. So if you figure Roma played on Thursday, they've got another one on Sunday. That's not too much rest time in between them. But by the way, if you do want to watch this game in New York, Copa 90 and Adidas are going to be at Roma Club New York, taking some interviews, doing some video, and some pictures. So if you want to get on down to there, that would be a pretty cool thing. Maybe you can have an interview for yourself and get some of their awesome videos that they make. They just made one on Palermo, which I thought was really amazing, a team who you are definitely going to see in Serie A next season. Okay, so let's keep going on to what I think here. If we look at the form, Roma, win, loss, win, loss. A little bit of a pattern there. Would this mean that Roma's going to lose their next match? I don't know. So that's in Serie A, of course. In Europa League, it was a win, loss, win, loss, loss. So a bit of a almost similar pattern there. So we see that Roma, no draws, not really this season. Has there even been one? Maybe one, right? But like I said, Dybala is still out, and Dovbik will be starting. This is from Sportsmole. If you ever check out their previews, very close to what is predicted. Actually, it's the exact same as Gazzetta dello Sport has here. One thing I did notice is that Roma doesn't have a lot of, or I should say, a big goal scorer. Sule has 3. That's not that much. That's as much as Zaniolo has in his past couple games. So Roma does have one thing, though. They have a lot of different goal scorers. It's at least 9 so far this season. That's a good stat. On to Rangers. What did I think? First of all, Roma were completely in control. The momentum doesn't show that Roma were so dominant. It actually shows big moments for Rangers in Scotland. But I didn't think that many of those were threatening at all. If we have to look at the XG, it's very low for Rangers. Roma were right on the mark with 2 XG. They scored 2 goals. They take all 3 points. Where does that leave them now? I didn't think of this as I was prepping, but I'm going to look at the standings really quick here, and that won't take much time. So where are we? Far, far, far down. 18th place. Not great, but one win changes a lot when it comes to the Europa League. So we could see that Midtjylland is up top with 12 points. That's really not that different. Just 2 more wins than Roma, of course, after 4 matches. So Midtjylland, I guess, putting up big numbers there. Aston Villa actually only 9, who I thought would definitely be tournament favorites. Lyon look pretty good this year. Porto, of course, has to be one of the favorites as well. And then we look lower, and the next team Roma plays, Celtic, are actually in 27th place, only 4 points. So, and Rangers dead last. They've actually lost their last 4 in Europa League, and their manager is now being rumored to be getting fired, which sounds pretty logical. But to be honest, like Roma's salaries, their transfer fees, everything's much greater in Rome, right? Proportionately speaking, Roma are the Goliaths and Rangers are the Titans. Titans, no, Davids. There we go. Wrong sport and wrong. This is all mixing with me because I hear Rangers in my head and I think New York Rangers. I'm a big hockey fan, big New York Rangers fan. So I'm always like, wait, we're Rangers and Roma. These are my 2 loves. How could they be combining? No, it's okay. I'll get over this mental lapse. What do we got here through FOTMob? Let me make this a little bit bigger for you. Some ratings. What do we got? Who's the best player on the pitch? Cristante. Get this. Look at this stat, would you? Let's go a little bit down. A little bit. Where is it? 17. I'm looking for the number 17, and I'll tell you why. Because he had 17 passes into the final third. You see that right there? It's a couple lines up from the bottom. Accurate long ball's not that good. 1 out of 5, 20%. Not great, but 17 passes into the final third. For reference, the next highest was like 5, and I think it was from El Ainaoui. So to say he's been influential, an essential part of Gasperini would be a complete understatement. But as we look across the board here too, let's see who else had a pretty good game. Mancini, phenomenal, had a great slide tackle, which saved the goal. Ndiga, whose shoulder at the very end of one goal scoring action, the 16th minute that Rangers had very quickly after Roma had scored. Ndiga just gives him a shoulder, pushes him off, and the striker shoots it wide. Hermoso had a staggering amount of balls recovered, and that was, here we go, 7, which was the most out of anybody on the pitch. Maybe Rangers center backs did just because they were under more pressure, but I didn't take a look at that. Selik, another very good match for him. Sule, an 8.0. It's a great number here. Dovbyk also very good. Dovbyk had a really good play to set up Pellegrini. So there's 2 players here as we go off of this that I'm going to mention number 1 and 2. My favorite player under Gasperini has been, yes, Evan Ndiga, if you could have guessed that one. Why? I just think he's been so immense when it comes to his slide tackles, his ball recoveries, his wins in the air, but really it's his man-to-man marking. Like, he doesn't let anybody by him. He doesn't get beat in a foot race. Maybe if we look back to the game against Milan, that him and Leao maybe got a little bit of the better of him, but we're really splitting hairs here. I think he's been absolutely fundamental for Gasperini. And if Roma has as many points as they have and their defensive record is the best, then it's so thanks to him. He's just been, there's not enough I could say. Number 2 might surprise you as well. I have my little espresso from my little automatic espresso maker. It's called the Baristina. It's pretty good. It's not like fresh espresso, like that same crisp, hot taste, but it's pretty good. It does use fresh beans. So, but anyway, my second best under Gasperini is actually Lorenzo Pellegrini because he is a magnificent reader of space. He's got a bunch of goals thus far in the season, and those are because he is so intelligent at taking space, being aware, seeing the play before it happens, And the most important thing that Gasperini needs is players, not necessarily who are like the most talented, but those who know how to occupy the right channels, move into it, take it, and be able to shoot a ball. And those are the things that Pellegrini is the best at. So he's thriving. He has a new lease on life, let's say, under Gasperini. I'm very proud of him. Is he the best player in the team? No. Who do I think is the most talented? After Dybala, number 3, we have to go over here. Sule. He's taken on a completely different level this season. If we just look statistically yesterday, 61 touches. He's making himself very available. He's dropping back to get balls into the final third. Anything else that like stands out to me? No, but we could keep looking, right? And his goals have been really great. He didn't score. Yes, I'm sorry. He did score yesterday. He gets that goal hanging out off the corner kick, heads it past the keeper. Nice one. Adds another to his belt. Been really proud of him too. To see him grow, somebody who could take over life after Dybala, whether Dybala stays, whether he goes on a reduced contract and becomes a set, like, what's the word? Like, that type of player who comes in like the 60th minute to kill off the game, like the ace up your sleeve, if you will, that type of player. But I think I'm confident now with Sule, his abilities, his potential, and like his ceiling just seems so high to me. He didn't get called up for Argentina. What is Scaloni doing? I don't know. He totally 100% deserves it. But better for Roma, better for him right now. Let him rest. Let him get a little bit, let him grow into it. Just take it easy right now. Go back, learn your tactics a little bit more, talk with your boss, get some light training in. Take it easy because these tactics are very demanding. It's going to be a long season under Gasperini. Who comes in to be that extra hand, that extra supply in the winter? Maybe it is Mainu for Manchester United. Maybe a double loan deal with Xerxes. That would be pretty cool. Keep your eyes on that. But let me know also your top 3 under Gasperini today, guys. So I'm going number 1, Indica, number 2, Pellegrini, and number 3, Sule. And Cristante's got to be somewhere in that mix, right? Is he like 2.5? We'll end on that. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye.